Excellence is continuous. It can be complex or simple. Each day is an open challenge to achieve success and turn adversity into opportunity. At RGF Executive Search Japan, we make winning a daily objective by aligning unique bilingual talents who invigorate organizations and drive sustainable growth. Excellence begins and ends with people. To execute your Japan recruitment relationship, contact us and let's begin.
Good evening and welcome to the webinar with James Feliciano, President of AbbVie Japan, titled Road to the Best. My name is Ryan Shepard from RGF Executive Search, and I will be your host this evening. I'm very excited to share with you some insights today from James. James has been a great friend and a mentor for many over the years, and his story really, I think, offers a lot for the industry to share. James is from the United States, but moved to Japan to Gifu originally before going back to the US to get his MBA. And he joined Wyeth in their headquarters before coming to Japan to lead their vaccine group, which ultimately became Pfizer. He was then with Merck Serono, serving then as a country manager as well before joining AbbVie in 2015. AbbVie has been through an amazing evolution over these years, growing from 600-700 employees to 1,300 plus, all while launching a new pipeline of drugs and transforming their work environment to a high performance work environment, even pre-COVID. So it's a very unique moment for AbbVie as they're now turning the chapter from their previous 5-year plan to their next 5-year plan, Road to the Best, to become the best company. But it's also a unique moment for everyone here in this industry and the world. As the emergency declaration has ended, we find ourselves in the midst of a new normal. And today, we hope that you can take away something from James and from AbbVie's journey to accelerate your own journey for yourself and for your organization. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to James. But before that, just 2 quick announcements. One is that the Q&A will be opened about 15 minutes into James's presentation. And you'll notice that by default, it is set to anonymous. If you wish, you can enter your name, and then the Q&A will be selected by one of our moderators to be shared during the Q&A session today. So, James, it's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much, and we're all very excited to hear more about your journey in Japan as AbbVie and yourself, and what Road to the Best is all about. So, James, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. And can you hear me okay?
Yes, all good.
You know, I hate that, James, you're on mute. So thank you very much for this invitation to be here, Ryan. It really is a pleasure. And I want to thank everyone who's attending today. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to have a chance to interact. I'm going to try to keep this presentation relatively short so we can open it up for more Q&A. I think that's really where the interest lies. So I'm going to spend just a little bit of time today talking about AbbVie Japan and we call our Road to the Best, and kind of put it into historical context. First, very quickly, AbbVie. AbbVie, as you can see, it's AbbVie. The ABB comes from Abbott, which is where we originally came from in 2013. Abbott spun off its biopharmaceutical group to create AbbVie. So the ABV is in homage to our past of Abbott. VIE is Latin for life, so hence AbbVie. And our goal is to make a remarkable impact on the lives of patients. We're based out of Chicago. We recently acquired Allergan late last year, and that puts us in the top 5 now for global pharmaceutical companies. in Japan, our vision is, and I think our vision is interesting. I'm going to break it down in a second, but it's rooted in a corporate culture where employees can grow. AbbVie, a biopharmaceutical company that contributes continuously to patient smiles through cutting-edge science and technology and a forward-looking resolution. And I think what's very interesting about the AbbVie Japan vision, and this when I joined in 2015, this vision was already here, and we've stayed true to this. I love how the first line is employee focused, and that we are rooted in a corporate culture where employees can grow. So first and foremost, it's about growing our employees and company focused so that we can contribute to patient smiles. So I've always loved this vision, and when I first joined the company in June of 2015, I saw the vision for the first time. I just fell in love with it, and we've kept it, and we keep it as our North Star. And our aspiration now is to become the best company. So again, I said I joined in 2015 of June, and I want to talk first about where we started. So when I joined in 2015, we were looking at just a tremendous amount of growth and of launching many, many new products over the next 5 years. And I felt like we needed to have some sort of a framework in which to do that. And we landed upon the 5-year focus. We do an all-employee meeting every January, and I joined in late June, and I saw the all-employee meeting was coming soon, and I was trying to get alignment about where we should go, and we created version 1 of our 5-year focus. And I'm showing this today because it's kind of embarrassing in a way, and I'll walk you through it in a second. But when we launched the 5-year focus at the all-employee meeting in 2016, it looked like this. And it's so busy. There's so much going on. I mean, we had, in my first year in 2016, we had 5 launches. We wanted to double our sales in 2018. We're launching our oncology group in 2018, and our goal was to be the top 20 by 2020. And we knew that we wanted to grow our business, and employee engagement were the 2 areas that we really wanted to focus in terms of big pillars. But I had just joined the company, and honestly, it was a bit of a United Nations type approach. I was trying to get buy-in from all of the different stakeholders in the organization. I didn't have a lot of credibility within the organization because I was still an unknown entity. So we ended up putting all of these different things into it, all of these different initiatives, and it was as you can see, under Grow Our Business, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 things. 20 on in employee engagement, there's also 5 things there. Super busy, very hard to keep track of, definitely impossible to remember. So after 2016 and 2017, where we had gotten some momentum, we had continued to push about this 5-year focus, or I continued to push, and my management team bought into the fact that A, I was the guy, and B, this is what we were doing. We did another offsite in late 2017, and we brought in a third party to help us into reshaping this, and we included our management team as well as key talent in the AMT-1 group. So it was about 30 people, and we spent 2 days, and my goal was, let's simplify this. Let's really boil it down to what's really important. And that's where we came up with our 5-year focus 2.0. So we launched this in 2018, and you can see it's just a lot cleaner. And we still kept the Grow Our Business. We still kept the employee engagement, but we were able to really synthesize down to and boil down to what really mattered. And it was 3 elements for grow our business, 3 elements for employee engagement. And I really felt like this was really a lot cleaner and a lot easier to remember, a lot easier to execute on. We kept our same goal of being top 20 by 2020. So how did we do? How did this first 5-year focus go? And I can't go into super details, but when we look at grow our business, you can see that we increased sales by 49% versus 2016. And from 2018 on, we've been a $1 billion company, which is, once you hit that $1 billion mark, or that 100 billion yen, so we continue to be a $1 billion company. We actually achieved top 20 company in 2018. In 2018, we had the #1 product in Japan for the full year with our hepatitis product. So, we've had really great run over that 5-year period. Into pipeline, you can see that the number of assets, and I'm sorry, I just for corporate reasons, I can't show you the exact number, but you can see the magnitude of the number of assets that we've increased over this 5-year period, the number of clinical trials and studies that have increased, and all of the filings for new products, the new drug applications year in, year out. These are all new products that have been coming in every year, and they continue to go up. So it's been a tremendous run, and while doing that, when you're adding all of these new products, there's the element of employee engagement, and the biggest piece is we grew tremendously and we doubled in size, and this is just the number of actual employees. In addition to that, we have contract employees as well as contract sales force, who honestly I feel they're also part of our organization. They're part of our team. But this is the actual AbbVie employees, and we flat out doubled. And so the biggest, one of the biggest challenges as you're growing that fast, and again, remember that AbbVie split or was formed out of Abbott in 2013. So we're a very new company. And when I joined in 2015, we were only 2 years old as a company itself. And you're adding on this many people, so you really run the risk of not having a clear identity of who you are as a company and what you stand for. And that's really was the genesis of this 5-year focus, was to give us a framework, that we could build around. And so when you look at employee engagement, we said, look, we need to really enhance our AbbVie culture. And, as our vision said, grounded in an environment where a culture where employees can grow, commit to individual growth. And then we really wanted to be the company of choice because we were growing so fast. We really wanted people to want to join us and to want to stay with us, because hiring and retaining talent is critical. So what we did, actually, we do town halls every year. We have 2 major touch points every year. And the first major touch point is in January, late January, and it's our all-employee meeting. And that's everyone gets together, the whole organization, and we kind of set the direction for that year. It's always and we celebrate. It's a great time. It's a great meeting. I always look forward to it because we can kind of set the roadmap. We can track how we're doing against our 5-year focus, and we can celebrate achievements along the way. So it's a great touch point. But we also then do town hall meetings in June, July, where the management team travels around Japan. And we'll go to Fukuoka, we'll go to Sendai, we'll go to Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, all of the major locations, and we'll meet with smaller groups, usually 50 at a time, instead of the entire organization. And at these town hall meetings, we're always looking for feedback to build into our 5-year focus. And we knew we were growing. We knew we had some major expansions coming for the sales force as we expanded our immunology group, as we were growing our oncology group. And so we started in 2016 to work on what we called our employee value proposition. And what we did was at our town hall meetings, we asked our employees, we asked them, you know, what would you tell your mother, or what would you tell your if you're a family outing or something and someone asks you, you know, where do you work and why do you work there? What would you say? Like, why do you work at AbbVie? What is it about AbbVie that you like? And, you know, honestly, we framed it in this way because we didn't want it to be a complaint session. You know, there's always enough time for feedback on what we can improve, but we wanted to understand why people wanted to be at AbbVie and why they stayed. So we created, and we see here, our employee value proposition. And it came down to three things, and this is the feedback that we got directly from our employees, that they liked AbbVie and they were motivated about AbbVie for three reasons: that we are committed to individual growth, that we're focused on shaping a future together because we're a new company. We're creating a history and shaping an exciting future. And third, that we are really committed to patients through our products and our pipeline. And we took what they gave us and we reshaped that into this, and then we put some visual around it with the flying penguins. And I love this visual and around more innovation, more potential, because we all know penguins can't fly, but at AbbVie, we're flying penguins. I mean, we achieve the impossible. And this really, this is, I think, really a defining moment for our organization, because as we were getting ready to do a major expansion of one of our business units, I mean, we were adding hundreds of people, and we asked our employees to refer and to bring in people that they knew from other companies, and we used this as a platform, and we were able to get about a third of our new hires directly from employee referrals, and this was the platform that we used, and we still use this today. So if you go to our website, for example, you'll see this is the Flying Penguins is alive and well. I love this picture because when I joined in 2015, I did all of my interviews at hotels and other nice places. This was the first time when I saw our office. I immediately went to our CFO and I said, "Who do we need to talk to about moving?" Because this was our office at the time. And when you're talking about building an inclusive culture, when you're talking about building a highly engaged organization, when you're talking about collaboration and working across therapeutic areas or across different business groups, and this is the office you have to live and work in, where you're stuck to a desk when you don't get any sunlight and it's just miserable. It's really hard to practice what you're preaching and to get people engaged and motivated. So we worked really hard, and every time an executive from headquarters came, I would give them a tour of the organization of the building, and I would talk about how much we wanted to move. And I just really manifested. I kept thinking we have to move. And when you say it enough times, it can finally happen. And then in February, we moved to our new office in February of 2019. And the new office is designed around activity-based working. There are 4 zones. One is a concentration area, one is a collaboration area, one is your standard area, and then one is a refresh area. And you basically go to where you need to work that day based on what you're doing. And there are no assigned seats. It's all open seating. And we really just changed the mindset of the organization around, you know, how you worked, how you collaborated, how you worked with your managers, how you set goals, how you got feedback. And, you know, from 2019, we were already, with this kickoff, we switched completely to a work anytime, work anywhere environment. And so, you know, actually, when COVID came, so, and this is to that effect, we launched what's called My Journey, My Choice. We said, you can work anytime, anywhere. We worked on for ways that MRs work, and because, you know, a big part of our organization is Salesforce. We worked on inclusive workplaces, as well as the next career by generation program. So we were already executing and trying to understand how to work, you know, based on personal responsibility and accountability. So when COVID hit us, actually, we were already in kind of a virtual world, because we were already working anytime, anywhere. In the last year of our 5-year focus, and this has become a big piece of who we are. Last year we rolled out what we call our 3 C's, and it's we'd say communicate, collaborate, and celebrate. And you can see that the 3 concentric circles. And for us, it's that diamond in the middle where these 3 things really come together. If you're at a group and you're communicating well, if you're collaborating well, and if you're celebrating, and celebrating is celebrating success, but we also say that celebrate in its simplest form is just saying thank you. Is this that recognition of someone doing something, or just saying nice job, great idea. So we're trying to create this culture of strong communication, collaboration, and celebration. And so we talk about our 3 C's mindset. And what we've seen over time is employee engagement, and this is from our most recent employee survey results in November of last year. You know, 91% of our organization agrees that they want to do their best to achieve AbbVie's vision and goals. And 90% are proud about working at AbbVie, and 86% want to work for AbbVie for a long time or feel motivated to work. And I think what's great is you look at the top right, our response rate. With 1,400 employees, we get a 90% response rate on these surveys. So we have a very highly engaged organization, and in addition to that, you know, our retention rates are some of the industry best. So when we look over time, and I think this has really borne itself out, our engagement is very high. But on the Great Place to Work survey in 2016, we ranked 24th, and now, you know, in 2020 we were 11th. We actually dropped to 13th for this year, but our score went up. So our competition is tough, I think, is one of the pieces of that. But we're very happy that our score went up, and we're getting recognized for our diversity and inclusion, and the employee benefits that we offer. Things with like the Hataraku Ale and Work with Pride are recognizing AbbVie Japan as an organization that supports and supports its employees. So we have ended our 5-year focus last year, 2016 to 2020, and now I think it was a great success across all measures. We achieved our goal of being a top 20 company. The organization is very, very engaged, and now we're saying, where do we go from here? So last year we did an offsite workshop with about 30 people, management team, as well as our key talents, and we spent 2 days working with a third party around where to go from here, and that's where we came up with our road to the best. And our goal is by 2025 to be the #1 company as recognized by Great Place to Work. That's our metric. We want to be the best company, #1. And we have 3 pillars. We want to be the best place to work, where we are ensuring an inspiring environment for employees and empowering each individual to reach their full potential. So again, staying true to our vision. Business success around enhancing our capabilities of our teams and individuals so we can drive unsurpassed execution. and creating transformational value. And then the third element, which is new for our new 5-year plan, is this road to the best, is the connection with our community. And with that, we want to build a deeper connection with our patients, as well as go green and serve our local communities. And for each of these 6 items, we have different work streams that we're going to be pushing along over the next 5 years. And our hope is that by 2025 we will be recognized as one of the best companies in Japan. I think we can do it. I'm really motivated. We rolled this out virtually in February at our all-employee meeting, and our post-event survey results were 97% of the employees they liked what they saw, and 99% of our respondents, which was about, again, 95% were responding, 99% understood Road to the Best and understood where we're going. And I think that's really important to, first and foremost, to get comprehension and understanding of where you're headed. So that's basically, in a nutshell, kind of where we are. And but most importantly, I want to open it up to Q&A and to discussion, so I can give more color and direct this the conversation that makes the most sense, where people are most interested. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing, if I can figure that out. Okay, did I stop?
Thank you, James. I'm just switching back to myself here. Fantastic story, thank you. Very colorful, and it makes it easy to imagine and feel like we're along with you on the ride. Some great questions are rolling in, so I want to get straight to a couple of questions from the audience. Some are similar. For example, Julian is asking, it seems that you've achieved several of your 5-year goals midway through the process. Did you then need to change anything and extend the goalposts? We have a similar question asking, what went better than expected? What was more challenging than expected? And maybe you could give us a snapshot into what some of those challenges were that you experienced along the way.
So we did have in 2018, we had a check-in, and at that point we had already achieved top 20. So we put a lot of thought into that, and we said, okay, let's still the goal of maintaining top 20, to maintain being a top 20 company, because we had achieved it, but we wanted to maintain it. And we did slightly tweak some of the overarching goals, but what was the biggest thing was at that 3-year point was just simplifying the overall 5-year focus. And so we've already built in for our next Road to the Best is that we will have a check-in at year 3 to kind of see where we are, and to see how relevant our objectives are that we've set. So in year 1, because when you're doing a 5-year plan, things change, and so we need to look at. And I think that 3-year point, I don't think you want to change things too quickly, but after 2 years. So when we've gone through 2 years and we're going to kick off our 3rd year, that'll be the point where we check in again and see what we need to tweak. No big changes, but tweaking, I think, and fine tuning is important.
Another very common question we're getting, I like the way that my colleague Gabriel at our sister company, RGF Professional, is describing this question, and that is, with the company doubling in size from 2013 to 2020, how do you maintain employee ownership on a day-to-day basis? And maybe you could give us some insight into some daily practical daily productivity habits or tactics that you have to really keep up that morale, so that employees can keep that connection between who they are and why they're there, but also what they're doing on a very practical day-to-day basis.
Yeah, look, I think if we didn't have the 5-year focus, or we didn't have now the road to the best, when employees join the organization, the first of every month is new hire orientation. And every month, I check in and I actually do the opening for those new employees. And I walk them through Road to the Best with 5-year focus. So I spend time talking about how important this is to the fabric of our organization. And then our HR director will spend about half an hour walking through, it was previously the 5-year focus, and now it's Road to the Best, walking through this. So it's not just a handout that they're given or some nice laminated thing that we don't talk about. It's the first thing we talk about. And what I say in my opening is that a lot of companies have nice slogans and what have you. We actually really live this. This is our 5-year focus. Our Road to the Best is essential to who we are. And one of the things that we really appreciate is the fact that we are building this company together. So the expectation is that you're coming in. We want you to participate within that framework of the 5-year focus. We're looking for your good ideas. We're looking for your best practices. And we want you from day one to feel like you are now part of that history of building that history of AbbVie. And I think the easiest place to start for us now is around 3 C's: the communicate, collaborate, celebrate. And we really want people to embrace that 3C mindset. And so we do a lot of AbbVie culture initiatives where we will have our managers, and we give them a turnkey activity that takes about 15 to 30 minutes. And we say, next month, please roll out this thing about how can we, for example, communicate better, or how can we celebrate better. And even I do it with my management team. We'll take time to talk about how we can do our 3C better, for example. And then we have those teams then upload to a common site what they're going to be doing. So I think new employees feel it immediately, because in every month or every 2 months in their team with their managers, we're talking about what we're doing around Road to the Best. We're talking about what we're doing around 3 C's. We're weaving it into the daily lexicon of the organization. How are you collaborating better? How can we communicate better? So I think they feel it from day one. They feel it from. The first thing that they do when they join the company is they do a self-introduction, and then the HR director says, "Oh, and we have a special guest, and it's me." And I'm the first thing they hear live talking about Road to the Best. So, we try to set that tone from the very beginning, and then just continue to weave that through communications and activities.
Fantastic. Yeah, they say day one is the day when the employee loves the company the most. So it's a prime day for impact, certainly. Another common question that we're getting is about patient centricity. After all, we're here in this industry for the patient, and having COVID-19 severely impact the day-to-day ways that we communicate with customers, doctors, and patients. How has that affected AbbVie's ways of communicating with patients, and understanding that you are ahead of the pack probably in terms of remote working culture and the work anytime, anywhere? How do you see the patient engagement strategy changing?
So it's a great question. In Japan, we're limited in terms of the amount of direct to patient interaction we can have. So we're allowed to interact in terms of disease awareness, but we can't talk specifically around product. We can only do promotion directly with physicians. But we have continued to do our activities of collaborating, for example, with hepatitis C, collaborating with the patient organizations around eliminating hepatitis C and elimination activities, and how to get the Japanese government more engaged in the WHO goal around elimination, for example. In immunology, we have something called perspectives, which is where we have patients who are suffering from autoimmune diseases to talk about their experience through art, through some sort of creative art, or through some sort of creative means. And we've been doing this for years now, and we continue to do that. And as well as, as an organization, when we do new product launches, we bring in patients so that we can hear firsthand their experience with the disease, so that we can better understand what they're going through, and what our treatment options, what they mean to them, how it can be life changing. So we continue to stay very active with patient groups. It's been harder to launch new products within the COVID situation. So we've seen the uptake of our new products to be not as fast, because patients are staying on their current therapies because they're not going to the hospitals or doctors as much. So our new product launches have been somewhat slowed down as a result. But overall, our business is still doing well. We're still on the cutting edge of innovation, with all of our products. So we just want to make sure that our patients have access, and we continue to try to be the leader that we are in all of our therapeutic areas.
Thanks, James. We have so many questions rolling in. I've got people texting me online and offline trying to get their questions in, so we're not going to be able to make it to them all, but I do want to keep going. The next question is from our good friend Mick, and he's saying, "Great job, James. So many super useful highlights here. Regarding the talent management, do you have any metrics or insights as to how many of these 649 original employees in as of 2013, that is, have progressed in the company? Maybe some censored examples of some success stories of those that have really risen to fulfill their potential within the company since you've been there, would be nice to hear."
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think one of the metrics we have is around retention, and our overall retention for the organization is below 5% in terms of turnover. So we're certainly hiring and retaining talent. I mean, Ryan, you know firsthand that AbbVie has a pretty unique value proposition, and we're able to actually bring in some pretty great external talent as well, people who are really interested and motivated about the AbbVie story and wanting to join the company. I believe that talent is not a lifetime membership, and excuse me, I think what we have found is that what was considered our top talent in 2015, that bar has risen, and maybe some of the talent that we had in 2015 we've had younger, we've had other people who've come in and have kind of surpassed them as our talent. So talent is not a lifetime membership. I think overall, the quality of our talent has improved tremendously. And I think one of the great things about that is around when you're in a growth mode, you have so much opportunity, and we've seen so many people to show initiative and the wanting to be part of that growth that has helped to identify talent. So we're about to go through our talent management cycle, and I'm already talking with my boss about, we have actually log jams in certain areas of we have too much talent, and we have to say, okay, who can we send to the US for a while, or who can we, export to another affiliate? Because I'm worried about, not having opportunities internally to give them, so that we want to try to look for external opportunities, maybe in Singapore, other affiliates, going to headquarters, going to Europe. And that's something that we did not have 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we were trying to build the bench of talent. So I don't have, precise numbers, but I do know, as I go into this next talent management review, we're looking at how we can export talent, which was something we were not doing in 2015.
Great, thank you. And similarly to this, very much getting to the core of self-development and unleashing one's potential. Many of our questions are asking the similar, getting to the similar point, and that is really, I think, the meat of today's message that we want to share with people. James, you have such a unique way of really, you have a spark that really ignites the potential in others. And as we've heard in the teaser clip that we posted on LinkedIn, you often ask people around you, your coworkers, who do they want to be in 5 years, in 10 years? What do they see around them? What color is the carpet? What are their colleagues saying about them? And I think many of our viewers want to know, as well as me, what are some of the questions we can ask ourselves to reflect on who we want to be, and to accelerate that journey of self-development so that we can unleash our potential. What are some of the practical sort of day-to-day things that you do, or that you would advise other people to develop that on a continuous basis?
Yeah, that's that's the $1 million question, right? I think one of the things that we've done at AbbVie is we have really we've asked all of our employees to create their own career journey and to think about their themselves over the next 5 years, and to think about where they want to go and where they want to go in their career. And not everyone does it, to be honest. But what you do find is that the motivated ones, the ones who have ambition and drive, they do spend time having spending that time in self-reflection. Because look, I think in all of our careers, you can't expect HR and you can't expect your manager to be a mind reader. You can't expect, you can't leave your career in the hands of HR or in the hands of your manager. And as a manager myself, nothing makes me more motivated than, someone coming to me saying, I want to do this. I want to be that, or I want to go here. How do I do that? That's a conversation where, instead of me saying, what do you want to do, trying to pull it out of you, if someone comes to me and says, James, I really want to, become a business unit director. I'm really motivated. I want to be a people manager. Okay, now we can start putting the steps in place to get you there. So I think it's critical to own your own career. So the whole idea of managing upwards is how I think of it. And in my career personally, when I graduated from business school, I was at headquarters working for commercial operations for Asia Pacific and interacting with all of these general managers. And I said, God, man, I want to be a general manager. That looks like a really great job. And I mean, for years, I wanted to be a general manager. I wanted to be the GM of Japan. And, I found that as my calling. It's what I wanted. I knew it's what I wanted to do. And, I could always articulate that vision to my managers, and I could clearly say to them, put a challenge in front of me. And if I fail miserably, we'll both know, and okay, good enough. But if I succeed at that challenge, if I clear that hurdle, promote me and give me the next challenge. And I think when you have that sort of vision about yourself, you'll find that there are people around you, or you'll find people who will help to empower that vision for yourself. And when I coach people, and when I spend time, talking to more mentoring people and talking about their future, I think you have to be as precise around, when you think about yourself 5 years from now, when you think about that job, what are you doing? And it's not, I think I'm leading people. No. Where are you? Tell me about who's in the room. What color is the wallpaper? I mean, you need to get as specific as you can, because the more specific you are, the more I have found that you're going to align your efforts and align your activity towards that vision and towards that goal. And the more that you can articulate that, you're going to find people who are willing to help you in that effort. Because if I can't be a mind reader. I don't have the time to try and pull out of you what's going to be the best you. You have to tell me, and then I'm going to find what I have in my bag of tricks to help you achieve that and to help you be that. I think everyone will agree it's much easier to help a motivated person than it is to help a person who's not so motivated. You know what I mean? So really, I think what you need to do is spend time thinking about, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? What are you passionate about? And I think what we found, and I've seen with people, they want to become a people manager, but they just think that's the next step. But it's not really what they want, and they're not going to be a good people manager. Maybe there's a sales rep, and that sales rep thinks, well, I want to be an area manager, but maybe they don't have that. Maybe that's not who they are. Maybe they would be better served being a university sales rep with a key opinion leader, where it's really driving guideline development for that therapeutic area, and that's where they can really thrive, and they can as a person. So spending time thinking about really who you are, what you're passionate about, and seeing, okay, 5 years from now, not just professionally, but personally as well. And think about your life holistically, about where you want to be as a person. I hate the term work-life balance. I think it's called life balance. Work is just a big part of your identity, So really adding all of those things together, having a vision for yourself, and keep checking in with that every year. And then you'll find people who will just empower you on that journey and manage upwards, push your boss. Sorry, I can get very passionate about that topic.
I know, we love it. I think I speak on everyone's behalf when we say that this is really priceless insight. We only have a few minutes left, but as a sort of follow-up to this question, it's interesting how asking ourselves who we are can sometimes be the scariest question we can ask ourselves. And diversity and inclusion, I know, is very important to you, to AbbVie. And one of our viewers is asking how you are developing a diverse and inclusive workspace. Most companies these days are talking about this, but how is AbbVie walking the walk?
But, I think of diversity and inclusion very broadly, okay? And I look at it from a number of angles, and I think there's diversity and inclusion in terms of female percentage, female managers, being inclusive in terms of LGBT and those elements. But I also look at it in terms of, I want AbbVie to be a company where if a male manager wants to take time off for child leave, that's okay. I want an environment where if someone wants to or needs to go home early one day so that they can go to their kid's soccer game, that's okay. And I want us to be an organization where if a 55-year-old sales rep wants to or needs to go back to their hometown to take care of their elderly parent, we support that. So we look at diversity inclusion not just the typical definitions of around race, ethnicity, or gender identification. Of course, we do that. Those elements are critical and important, but we also look at it much more broadly in terms of where you are in your life stage and what your needs are. And we want to support you in the different stages of your life. That AbbVie is supportive and we're inclusive to all of those things, that we're going to create and have a team environment where we're supporting each other. I want us to be an organization where you can take a holiday. I want us to be an organization where there's no guilt around going on a family vacation. And in many Japanese companies, there is guilt around that. And there's, it's around, oh, I can't leave the office till my boss leaves mentality. I think that's just absolute bullshit. And that's why we have a work anytime, anywhere, where, you're accountable for yourself, you're accountable for your job, you're accountable with feedback with your boss, and, we're going to trust you. And we're all going to be in this together. We're going to support each other so that wherever we are in our life stages, we're an organization that supports that diversity and that inclusion as well.
Beautiful. So not just a policy, but a real mindset that you and values that you really live from the heart. We're just about out of time, James, but is there any final remarks or words that you would like to leave our viewers with today?
Look, I don't think that the 5-year focus or road to the best is rocket science. It's really not. I mean, these are things that any good company is doing on a daily basis. But I think what is important about having a consistent message like the 5-year focus or road to the best is that you're taking what you're doing on a daily basis and you're pushing it through a framework that helps you to better identify what you're doing, how well you're doing, and to track that progress. We're all working hard, we're all making forward progress, but you need a framework to chart that growth. And I think, I like to use the analogy of, as you're growing up as a child, you have that one place on the wall where you keep measuring your height. As you get older, your dad would make that line, that little mark on the wall. And, the 5-year focus that's all it was, really. It was saying, look, these are the things that are important, and let's track how we're doing. So those are just tracking our growth. And I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not like, there's anything there that's some secret sauce. It's just consistency around the message. It's around every time you do achieve something that you reconnect it to that 5-year focus, and to the wording and to and just consistency and supporting those messages. And God seems to agree. So yeah, I mean, and I just encourage you. You can do it with your team, you can do it with your organization, and I think you can do it with yourself. I think a 5-year window around yourself and your development is also really, really important. And I'm always open. You can link in with me at any time. I'm always happy to have a discussion around personal development, personal growth, or to share this story with anybody.
Thank you very much, James. Certainly the weather agrees that you're a mover and shaker, truly. Speaking of really finding your own way, at RGF Executive Search and RGF Professional, our strategy is road to specialization. We do this so that we can better advise people how to take their career, whether you're an entry level or whether you are an executive looking to become, country manager and everything in between. So I hope you can see the slide, but this is this just illustrates us and our sister company. So RGF Executive Search, based in Kamiyacho, we are headhunting driven, and we have an average of 10 years of experience per consultants, 18 people in our life sciences division, divided across pharma R&D, pharma commercial, medical device, and diagnostics, and we go deep. RGF Professional is database driven. They have access to Recruit's database, so they have a very quick turnaround of volume kind of positions. So we work together to some degree, but really we are separate operating companies and separate brands for that purpose. So thank you very much for watching today. Just want to say thank you again very much.
Thank you, Ryan. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you everyone for attending. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, James. And that concludes our webinar for this evening. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead.